Get ready. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Start. Madam Deputy Chairman, I would like to confine my remarks to some of the issues that have come before us for some time past. I would like to refer to the tendency of monopoly, the policy of the government, and the distribution of governmental patronage to newspapers. Before I do that, I would like to make one general observation. The Press Commission was constituted some time ago by the government, and it had made various recommendations which were partly accepted and partly not, but today the situation has changed considerably. In their report, every year you find new trends developing in the Indian press and new forces coming into play. I feel the situation has changed considerably now since the first press commission was constituted, and I would suggest that there should be a second press commission to make a thorough inquiry about the various problems confronting the Indian press. Madam, I feel that is a necessary step to be taken in view of the fact that many of the recommendations made by the Press Commission have become outdated, and some of them have not been accepted by the government of India. Therefore, it is very essential that we should have another press commission to inquire about the Indian press. Now, I would deal with some of the points which I referred to earlier, namely the tendencies of monopoly in the Indian press. When one goes through the pages of the report of the registrar of newspapers, one cannot escape the conclusion that tendencies of monopoly have been increasing day by day. I might read out a few sentences so that we might be able to understand the dangerous trend that is prevalent so far as monopoly is concerned. The Registrar of Newspapers says in Chapter 5 that there is a further concentration of newspapers under common ownership as represented by chains, groups, and multiple units. I would like to know whether we should not cry a halt to this growth of monopoly in the press. The question is how to do it, how to bring about diffusion in paper ownership. May I suggest that one of the ways to bring about diffusion in the matter of ownership is to put up a limit on the ownership of papers by a group or a chain. We have now to consider whether a certain amount of limit should not be contemplated. Now, I would refer to one or two other aspects about the policy of the government itself in regard to certain matters. Madam, after the emergency was declared, I thought that the patriotic press of India would react to the needs of emergency, and I must say, whatever may be the position or the capital structure of the press, whatever may be the monopolistic trends in the Indian press in the beginning, though the press was comparatively free to publish anything it liked, it exercised restraint and showed a sense of responsibility, but later on I find that government interfered with the functioning of the various papers and even directed or suggested that certain things should not be published at all, and a sort of veiled threat was issued by the Home Ministry to various papers that they should not publish certain things which are critical of government. If that is true, I feel that it is a very rude and unwarranted interference with the freedom of the press. As we condemn monopoly in the press, we likewise condemn rude interference by government in the working of the press. Therefore, if that is true, I feel that it is very reprehensible and it has to be criticized, and even now I feel that the heavy hand of government is not removed. Secondly, I refer to a matter which was discussed already, and that is the patronage of the government is not extended uniformly to all papers. It is very unfortunate indeed. I hope there would not be undue patronage or undue favoritism by government, but if certain favors have to be given, they have to be given to all papers uniformly. There should be equal treatment to all. But I do not find that the government is exercising the hand of patronage uniformly and giving equal treatment to all. For instance, there are certain transactions connected with the link. As you are aware, one ministry took some space on a rental basis in the link building and paid nearly rupees 3.5 to 4 lakhs as advance rent, and it was justified on the ground that this space was necessary because there was no other space available. It was also said that the advance would be adjusted towards loans and even a rebate would be allowed in course of time, which will cover up the interest on this huge amount. May I point out that I do not find fault with the deal at all. I take it that the agreement is honorable, is good and reasonable, but it is likely to create some heartburning among the general public.